Hello, my name is Salome Chheidze. I am the PhD student from Georgian American University, and today I will speak about the role of leader in education and leadership. The topic that I will cover today is styles of leadership, school leadership, and I will speak about the distributive leadership as one of the most effective way of leading school. Also, we will cover the topic of how to develop distributive leadership, and finally we will make a short conclusion. Nowadays, education and leadership is becoming more and more interesting topic for the society. Especially the COVID-19 pandemic showed us that it is vitally important to have a very effective management system in educational institution. And there are a lot of different definitions of leadership. However, I would bring one: leadership is a process of influence leading to the achievement of desired purposes. And a good leader should develop a vision for their educational institutions or personal and professional values. While speaking about educational leadership, it is important to notice several styles of leadership. And the first we'll discuss today is autocratic or authoritarian leadership style. This style of leadership is more based on the results and is focused on getting the final outcomes. So these leaders mostly make the decisions alone or with very small groups of people. The second leadership style is bureaucratic leadership. Bureaucratic leadership is more based on following the rules and written regulations very strictly. Mostly this leadership style is used in organizations with health and safety procedures, where it is vitally important to follow the written rules and regulations. Leadership style number 3 is coaching leadership. A coaching leader identifies the strengths and weaknesses of their employees, and they are more focused to help their employees for professional development. This type of leadership gives a chance to team members to set smart goals and then provide them with the feedback to promote growth. Usually, coaching leaders create a very motivating environment for their team members. Leadership style number 4 is laissez-faire leadership. This leadership is more based on giving freedom to the employees. It is more considered as let them be style of leadership. It is a very good leadership style for highly qualified team and very creative employees. Otherwise, it has a very big risks as this style of leadership considers no or very little supervising of the team members. Leadership style number 5 is democratic leadership. Democratic style is where a leader makes decisions based on the input received from team members, and the democratic leader asks their team members for input and consider feedback from the team before they make a decision. Leadership style number 6 is transformational leadership. Transformational leadership involves a leader who inspires and motivates their team to achieve a shared vision, often by providing support, encouragement, and personal development opportunities. Transformational leaders expect the best out of their team and push them consistently until their work, lives, and businesses go through a transformation or considerable improvement. There are 4 elements of transformational leaders. This is idealized influence. As I have already noticed, transformational leaders, they have a big influence on their employees, and they always try to have a very positive influence. The second element of transformation leader is inspirational motivation. They motivate and encourage their team members. Intellectual stimulation is a very important element of transformational leaders, as far as they always try to assist and encourage their team members to grow professionally and develop professionally. And individualized consideration is that this style of leaders, they always are ready to listen to their team members. Leadership style number 7 is servant leadership. Servant leadership is another style where leaders live by a people-first mindset and believe that when the team members feel personally and professionally fulfilled, there is more effective and more likely to regularly produce great work. Because of their emphasis on employee satisfaction and collaboration, they tend to achieve higher levels of respect. It is interesting to compare the traditional leader with the servant leader. If for the traditional leader on the top there is a leader, then for the servant leader there is a customer. If we consider traditional leader as more leader-oriented, then the servant leader is more oriented on the people, on customer, employees, management, and only on the bottom there is a leader for the servant leader. And the last, transactional leader. Transactional leader is considered as more short-term and can best be described as given and take a kind of transaction. In this style of leadership, employees are rewarded for exactly the work they would have performed. It is especially so in sales, for example, or in marketing jobs. As for school leadership, it is vitally important for school leadership to have an effective educational leadership style. Strengthening school leadership to improve teaching and learning is one of the strategies put forward to achieve Target 4C of the Education 2030 Agenda created by the UN. Studies have shown that the school leadership has the second largest in-school impact on student learning outcomes behind only classroom teaching. School leadership aims to get the best out of teachers and students, and it can fall under either transformational or instructional leadership. Effective school leadership requires a range of skills including communication, problem-solving, decision-making, and interpersonal skills. And a school leader must be able to work collaboratively with faculty, staff, students, and parents, and create a positive and inclusive school culture. School leadership also involves setting goals and procedures and monitoring and evaluating student progress and teacher performance. The ultimate goal of school leadership is to promote academic achievement. Distributive leadership is one of the most effective ways of leading the school. The increased responsibilities and accountability of school leadership are creating the need for distribution of leadership, both within schools and across schools. Distribution of leadership in schools refers to the practice of sharing leadership responsibilities among various stakeholders in a school community, including teachers, students, their parents, and so on. What is distribution leadership? Distribution leadership is one of the most effective ways of educational leadership where everybody has their own rights and responsibilities. Distribution of leadership can strengthen management and succession planning. Distributing leadership across different people and organizational structures, of course, can help to meet the challenges facing contemporary schools and improve effective school effectiveness. This can be done in formal ways through team structures and other bodies, or more informally by developing groups based on expertise and current needs. Distributive leadership in schools is one of the most effective leadership approaches where decision-making and responsibility are shared among a team of leaders rather than being centralized in the hands of one individual. There are several characteristics of distributive leadership that I would like to discuss further. And the first is collaborative planning. Collaborative planning is very important as there is an important notice that collaborative planning involves cooperation of the staff in one specific department, which is preparing the plan, but collaboration across different departments in the school society. This approach can also lead to cooperation across different fields in school and finally relate to the correct and effective planning for the whole educational institution. And another important characteristic is shared decision making. Distributive leadership involves decision making is shared among a team of leaders rather than being centralized in the hands of one individual. The process involves bringing together a group of individuals with different areas of expertise and perspectives to work together to make decisions that affect the school community. Decisions may be much more effective if the group of decision makers consists not only from leaders but also from teachers, head teachers, and representatives from different departments. A leader cannot always know the depths of any department and staff's interests and their ideas and their points of view. So I think that involving the different people from different departments will always give more objective, transparent, and effective decisions to the educational institution. Another important thing is professional development. By sharing leadership responsibilities and encouraging collaboration, educators can learn from one another and develop new skills and perspectives. Lessons, peer observation, workshops, and collaboration with different departments will increase knowledge, collaboration, and develop new visions. And finally, flexibility and adaptability. COVID-19 pandemic showed us that schools and educational institutions must be very flexible, and they should have adaptability in order to adapt to different external and internal factors. How leaders can develop distributive leadership? As far as we have already noticed that there is very important role of a good leader in educational leadership, it is important to notice that to improve efficiency and effectiveness of employment work for good leaders, it is important to have and set clarified roles and responsibilities. It is important to understand that the staff should know that there is somewhere written the roles and responsibilities, not only in that way, but also they should understand, and the top managers should be sure that everybody knows what is expected from them. Another important thing that the good leader should do is assist their team members with the provision of professional development. There are a lot of leaders who have a feeling of fear when their team members start professional development outside of the educational institution, when they invest in their professional growth. And the feeling of fear of our leaders is connected with losing this member of the team, as far as there is a fear that this member of the team will find another job. Well, yes, it happens quite often. However, good leaders should motivate and train their team members, and they should understand that trained and professional staff is much better for their educational institution. Good leaders motivate trained and professional staff to share their knowledge with other employees, and they do not overwhelm a good employee because they can do much better than others can, but they help them become much better leaders. What good leaders should also consider is motivation and encouragement of employees. There are a lot of works and studies written and done on motivation of employees. However, it is important to notice that the good leaders should understand what motivates their employees. Sometimes leaders think that they motivate their employees. However, maybe this is not the motivation for their team members. So it is important for good leaders to understand what exactly motivates their staff. And finally, it is very important to listen and understand employees. Good leaders should always find time to listen to their team members. So good leaders are people who set a vision for educational institutions, set a plan to achieve the goals, and motivate employees. Good leaders work with an approach: I follow, therefore I lead. And finally, the greatest leader is not necessarily the one who does the greatest things, but he's the one that gets the people to do the greatest things. Thank you.